Sorry, I'm a little late there, guys. My primary camera died on me yesterday, or actually the day before yesterday, and had to get a quick replacement, and this is the first time I've had to use it on StreamYard, and it took me a minute to get it to sync and recognize, but we're here. So normally I just have one prepared that I'm going to start with, but I'm just going to look and see what's in the comments today, and we'll choose a request to get started with today. Okay, Leo wants to hear Captain Jack, Scenes, Moving Out, and Piano Man. Okay. All good? Moritz, how we doing? In Graz, Austria, wants to hear Tell Her About It. Okay. Macius, joining us from Poland. Thank you for staying up so late to watch. I'll tell you what, we are we're actually doing a Billy Joel kind of thing on our Wednesday shows, but I'll tell you what, Macius, just because you are dialing in from so far away, I'm going to do this song for you because it's one of my favorites, and so we're going to break the mold and do an Elton John song on a Billy Joel show. And then we'll get back to Billy Joel stuff. Because I know it's like midnight or 1 a.m. or something where you're at. So here we go. We'll do a little music from The Lion King here, which incidentally, when I first saw Billy Joel, he was with Elton John in 1994, and Elton played Can You Feel the Love Tonight, which was The Lion King was fresh out at that moment, and it was like the biggest song in the world. So when I play something from The Lion King, it makes me think of that concert. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. From the day we arrive on the planet, blinking step in to the sun, there's more to be seen that can never be seen, more to do than could ever be done. Some say eat or be eaten, and some say live or let live, but all are agreed when they join the stampede, you should never take more than you give in the circle of life. It's the wheel of fortune, it's the leap of faith, it's the bend of the whole, till we find our way on the path unwinding, yeah, in the circle of life. Some of us fall by by the wayside. Some of us soar to the stars. Some of us sail through our troubles. Some have to live with the scars. It's far too much to take in here, or to find that could never be found. The sun flying high in the sapphire sky keeps great and small on the endless round in the circle of life. It's the wheel of fortune. It's that leap of faith. It's the band of hope till we find our place on the path unwinding, yeah, in the circle of life. It's the wheel of fortune. It's the leap of faith. It's the path of hope till we find our place on the path unwinding, yeah, the circle of life. On the path unwinding, yeah, the circle of life. All right, we broke the rules a little bit tonight for our friend Maciusz in Poland. Thank you. He's new to the community, and it's a very late night. He's very far into the east end of Europe, so thank you very much. Okay. Thomas wants to hear Uptown Girl. DSMS wants to hear Piano Man and wants me to talk about why I think it's great. Okay. Aquamoo, was I a fan of Ozzy? Yes and no. I was not like a great listener of his music. Not my cup of tea for the most part. But I was a fan of him as like a music innovator and as a guy who broke a lot of barriers and did a lot of very important work. So I have a lot of people like that in the music industry that I admire and that I am a fan of because of the importance of their work, even if their work is not really like what I personally like to sit around and jam to. and he would fit that category. All right, River of Dreams. Good stuff. I'm confused by this comment because Billy, I thought, had canceled all of his tour dates into next year. So he's recovering from water on the brain, and I am thrilled to see that he's well enough to do some publicity interviews for the new documentary. But he's really struggling with his balance right now. So I don't think he's performing at the moment, but maybe he had dates set up in Vegas that he had to cancel. I don't know. I used to live in Mesquite, Nevada, by the way. You're welcome, Aaron. Thanks. Yes, your request came through, Leo. Yeah, I saw that. We'll do Lean on Me on Sunday. Thank you. Okay. Well, let's just carry on here with some of the requests that came up. I haven't seen the new documentary yet. I meant to, I know that they're releasing part 2 on Friday, and I had meant to try and watch the first half before tonight so that we could talk about it, but I just have not had a chance. I've been too busy with work, but I'm going to binge the whole thing this weekend. And I think unless something comes up that prevents him from doing it, I think Kevin's going to join me next Wednesday, so that Kevin Lawrence will join me so that we can have a proper nerd session about the whole thing. So we'll get into the new And So It Goes documentary hard. Okay. And in the meantime, let me pull some lyrics up here. So this is from our friend Moritz. Wants us to go back to 1983 on an album called An Innocent Man. An Innocent Man was a record that was made in homage to all of the R&B music that he loved, the early rock and roll in the late 50s and early 60s. And every single track is patterned after a particular artist, his melody, so it's not ripped off, but it's definitely patterned in the style of, and this one was to sound like the Supremes at the height of their Motown fame. And it's called Tell Her About It, and it was a #1 hit, I believe, in early 1984. And it goes like this. comfortable way. You know I don't like watching anybody make the same mistakes I made. She's a real nice girl, she's always there for you, but a nice girl wouldn't tell you what you should do. Listen, boy, I'm sure that you think you got it all under control. You don't want somebody telling you the way to stay in someone's soul. You're a big boy now, you'll never let her go. But that's just the kind of thing she ought to know. Tell her about it, tell her everything you feel. Give her every reason to accept that you're for real. Tell her about it, tell her all your crazy dreams. Let her know you need her, let her know how much she means. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo. Listen, boy, it's not automatically a certain guarantee. To ensure yourself, you got to provide communication constantly. When you love someone, you're always insecure, but there's only one good way to reassure. Tell her about it, let her know how much you care. When she can't be with you, tell her you wish you were there. Tell her about it every day before you leave. Pay her some attention, give her something to believe. 'Cause now and then she get to worrying, just because you haven't spoken for so long. And though you may not have done anything, will that be a consolation when she's gone? Listen, boy, it's good information from a man who's made mistakes. Just a word or two that she gets from you could be the difference that it makes. She's trusting so, put her trust in you. But a girl like that won't tell you what you should do. Tell her about it, tell her everything you feel. Give her every reason to accept that you're for real. Tell her about it, tell her all your crazy dreams. Let her know you need her, let her know how much she means. Tell her about it, tell her how you feel right now. Tell her about it. Girl, don't want to wait too long, you got to tell her about it. Tell her now when you won't go wrong. Tell her about it. Girl, don't want to wait too long, you got to tell her about it. I said tell her about it. Tell her about it. Seen the lights go out on Broadway, saw the Empire State a little low. The light went on beyond the Palisades. They all bought Cadillacs, left there long ago. We held the concert out in Brooklyn to watch the island bridges blow. They turned our power down and drove us underground, but we went right on with the show. Seen the lights go out on Broadway, saw the ruins at my feet. You know we almost didn't notice it. Seen it all the time on 42nd Street. They burned the churches up in Harlem, like in that Spanish Civil War. The flames are everywhere, no one really cared. It always burned out there before. Seen the lights go out on Broadway, and oh, watch the mighty skyline fall. The boats were waiting in the Battery. The Union went on strike. They never sailed at all. They sent the carrier out from Norfolk, picked the Yankees up for free. They said the Queens would stay. They blew the Bronx away. They sang Manhattan out to sea. Whoa. So many years ago, before we all lived here in Florida, before the mafia took over Mexico. There are not many who remember. They say a handful still survive to tell the world about the way the lights went out, and keep the memory alive. Hey, Aqua. I am just independent. I release them myself. I'm not signed to anybody. Not sure I'd really want to be in this environment. You know, I love this, but I kind of like having a lot of flexibility to do kind of whatever I feel like in the moment. Um, so, no, I don't have a label. Good old Piano Man Steve Records. She's got a way about her. I don't know what it is, but I know that I can't live without her. She's got a way of pleasing. I don't know why it is. There doesn't have to be a reason anyway. She's got a smile that heals me. I don't know what it is, but I have to laugh when she reveals me. She's got a way of talking. I don't know why it is. It lifts me up when we are walking anywhere. Comes to me when I'm feeling down, inspires me without a sound. She touches me and I get turned around. She's got a way of showing how I make her feel, and I find the strength to keep on going. And she's got a light around her, and everywhere she goes, a million dreams of love surround her everywhere. Comes to me when I'm feeling down, inspires me without a sound. She touches me, I get turned around. Whoa, 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 whoa. She's got a smile that heals me. I don't know why it is, but I have to laugh when she reveals me. She's got a way about her. I don't know what it is, but I know that I can't live without her anyway. Do I have a song I'm most proud of writing? The thing about that is, it tends to come, in waves, and it's not a static experience. So, like, I can tell you that I wrote songs for, 3 or 4 years, and felt like they were all kind of at the same level. And then I wrote a song called The Answer that I thought was a marked improvement. And then every song that I wrote after The Answer for a while felt like it was at that level. And then I wrote a song called One Laugh and One Look that I thought was a step higher. And then everything that I wrote, and I'm kind of at that level now. And so different songs mean things to me, certain lyrics and stories mean different things to me, but I can't isolate just one. But I do have things that stick out to me where I was like, this was a real, and like this one took me to a new level of writer, or this was particularly personally satisfying because of the story or whatever. I wrote a song about being in a small mom and pop business in the changing world that was evolving away and into box stores and online shops. And my dad had a retail shop for 25 years, so I was proud of that one. And just little things. I wrote a song called Natasha Dove that I don't think is my best lyric by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's good, but I don't think it's my best. But I think musically it's one of the coolest things I ever wrote. G'day, mate. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. You're welcome, Padre. Okay, let's get back to some requests here. So we did tell her about it. Thomas wants to hear Uptown Girl. Which is the other really huge hit from An Innocent Man, although that album produced something like 6 hit singles. But the two biggest ones by far were this one and the one that I played earlier, Tell Her About It. And anyway, everyone thinks this was written about Christie Brinkley. It actually wasn't. He just was trying to write a song that sounded like Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. And then he was dating Christie Brinkley at the time, and it was somebody had the idea to put her in the music video. All right. This was not as big of a hit as Tell Her About It, but I think it's lasted in the zeitgeist a little bit longer. One. Oh, uptown girl, she's been living in her uptown world. I bet she's never had a backstreet guy. I bet her mama never told her why. I'm gonna try for an uptown girl. She's been living in her white bread world as long as anyone with hot blood can. And now she's looking for a downtown man. That's what I am. And when she knows what she wants from her time, and when she wakes up and makes up her mind, she'll see I'm not so tough just because I'm in love with an uptown girl. You know I've seen her in her uptown world. She's getting tired of her high-class toys and all the presents from her uptown boys. She's got a choice. Oh, 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 oh. Uptown girl, you know I can't afford to buy her pearls, but maybe someday when my ship comes in, she'll understand what kind of guy I've been, and then I'll win. And when she's walking, she's looking so fine. And when she's talking, she'll say that she's mine. She'll say I'm not so tough just because I'm in love with an uptown uptown girl. She'd been living in her white bread world as long as anyone with hot blood can. Now she's looking for a downtown man. That's what I am. Oh, 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 uptown girl. She's my uptown girl. No, I'm in love with an uptown girl. My uptown girl. You know I'm in love with an uptown girl. My uptown girl. You know I'm in love with an uptown girl. My uptown girl. Yeah. Do I have a songwriting process? I don't know if I have one that like stays totally consistent every time, but here's how it usually goes. For me, the biggest challenge is, what am I going to write a song about? Like, what's the premise? And so I'm always on the lookout for hooks, hook lines, titles, and or just like, like what's worth, because I like to write stories. Billy Joel is my sort of avatar for lyric writing. I'm not a guy who writes lyrics that are just like, it just sounded good at the time and they don't really make any sense and there's a bunch of hidden meanings, and it's not my thing. I like to write pretty concrete stuff that people can understand exactly what I mean when I'm saying it. And so I have to find something that feels like it's worth dedicating a song to. And when I find that, then I have to find some kind of way to sum it up. That's my hook line. For example, I had an aunt. One of my more recent songs, I had an aunt that I really, really looked up to, who passed away a couple years ago. And she was a combat nurse in Vietnam when she was in her 20s for 2 years. She worked in a full service hospital in Saigon, in the outskirts of Saigon. They took shelling. She was in the army, and they took all kinds of enemy fire, and they would have to hide under, like put themselves underneath hospital bed mattresses because they were afraid the ceiling was going to cave in. And she dealt with just, horrific injuries, amputations, watched a lot of guys bleed out and get mutilated, all this stuff. She comes back from a couple of years and had an alcohol problem, and she defeated that after 10 years of a really, really hard fight, and then dedicated kind of the rest of her life very quietly. She was a nurse, so we all knew that about her, but very quietly she became like one of the most prolific sponsors in Alcoholics Anonymous for other alcoholics, and she specialized in women whose lives were falling apart because of their alcoholism. A lot of them were in very abusive relationships, and she would give them a place to live. She practiced tough love, so it was like you have to keep your commitment to sobriety, you have to go to meetings, you have to, show up to your job on time, and if you don't have a job, you have to be looking for a job, all this stuff. But she would give them a place to live. She basically turned her own home into a halfway house. And anyway, all of these women came forward during when she passed and just said, she saved my life, you know. Without her, I never would have gotten sober, and I have, you know, kids and a family, and I have a life that I wouldn't have if it hadn't been for her. I mean, this is dozens and dozens and dozens over the years. And then I came to find out she had she always had 9 cats and 2 dogs, and would replace them as they would pass away. And I came to learn that what she was doing is she would go to the shelter and say, you know, which ones will nobody else take? Which ones aren't getting adopted? And so those animals that were going to be on the kill list to put down because nobody wanted to take them home because they had medical issues, or maybe they weren't well behaved, or they were old or whatever, and she would take them home. And so she was running an animal sanctuary, and then she put a cat door in her back door, and allowed stray cats so that stray cats could come in, and she kept enough food in the little mud room that they would come into. So she had cats beyond the ones that she just owned that she literally kept alive by putting food out for them. And it was really, all of this was kept very quiet. No one really knew about it in our family. And so when I learned all of this stuff about her, I was like, my God, this woman was kind of a hero, you know? But just hiding in plain sight. And that emerged. Okay, that's a song title, Hero Hiding in Plain Sight. And so then I knew at that point, okay, so I want to make sure that I tell people about her time as a combat nurse and what she meant to the soldiers that she helped save. I want to tell people about how she overcame her addiction, how she saved a bunch of other people, or helped save a bunch of other people from their addiction, and how she was, you know, this like savior for animals that otherwise would have just been put to sleep. And so those are the things I knew I needed to touch on in the verses, and I needed to come up with a compelling chorus that would explain that this woman was a hero hiding in plain sight. And what I ended up coming up with was the phrase, she doesn't wear a cape, she can't fly through the air, she's living such a modest life that most don't even care, but just know you should thank her and be kind, because she's a hero hiding in plain sight. And that became my chorus that you could come back to over and over. And so that's kind of how my songs tend to come around. Once I know what I'm going to write it about, then I can start working out. I play around with chords and find a melody, because it's hard for me. I can write melodies pretty fast, but the trouble that I have is that if I have no idea what I'm writing them about, it's hard for me to know what kind of cadence to put with the melody, because I don't know how many syllables I'm going to need or anything like that. So that's just an example. I'm just always on the lookout for that sort of thing, like what would make for a good song. And that's half the battle for me. And then I usually, at that point, I trust myself to put some kind of a decent melody in. And then when I get my first draft done, I push the timer, play through it, see how far beyond 3 minutes and 30 seconds I get. And I usually try to keep them under 5 minutes. And sometimes I write something that I like so much, I just say to hell with it, I'll let it be as long as it wants to be. But I usually try to keep it to 3.5 or 4 minutes if I can. What the cup half full of money is for? Well, it's fake money off of Amazon. It's just fake 20s and fake hundreds. My mom gave me that giant wine glass and said I should use it for as a tip jar out on gigs. And it's not very practical to do that because it's fragile and it'll crack if I have it in the back of the van with a bunch of other equipment. But I thought it would be an interesting, like, visual piece for my filming facade. So, and then for a while, I just had it sitting there by itself, empty. And then I thought it'd be funny to just fill it with fake money. So that's all. Okay, this request just came in. Oops. Victor was born in the spring of 44 and never saw his father anymore. A child of sacrifice, a child of war, another son who never had a father after Leningrad. Went off to school and learned to serve the states, follow the rules, and drank his vodka straight. The only way to live was drown the hates. A Russian life was very sad, such was life in Leningrad. I was born in 49, Cold War kid in McCarthy time. Stop him at the 38th parallel, blast those yellow reds to hell. Cold War kids were hard to kill, under their desk in an air raid drill. Haven't they heard we won the war? What do they keep on fighting for? Victor was sent to some Red Army town, served out his time, became a circus clown. The greatest happiness he'd ever found was making Russian children glad. Children lived in Leningrad. Children lived in Levittown, hid in the shelters underground, till the Soviets turned their ships around and tore those Cuban missiles down. And in that bright October sun, we knew our childhood days were done. I watched my friends go off to war. What do they keep on fighting for? So my child and I came to this place to meet him eye to eye, and face to face he made my daughter laugh. Then we embraced. We never knew what friends we had until we came to Leningrad. Fun side note for that song. So I made a cover, I made a proper YouTube, fairly well produced cover of that song that I just played, Leningrad. Oh, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago. And one of the comments that came through was from Victor, that the song was written about. And he left me a very, very sweet comment, and we connected over social media. He's still a friend on Instagram and Facebook, and we've had a couple of very nice conversations. And super, super nice guy. If you don't know Victor's story, it's told in a documentary from Billy Joel's Russian tour called A Matter of Trust. You should look it up. I think it's on YouTube. And anyway, if the world ever calms down enough, so that we can, I would love to meet Victor in person sometime and play him that song in person. But that's kind of one of the cool serendipities of the internet for me, is that I've gotten to connect with Victor from Leningrad. No, I've not ever met Billy. I'd like to sometime, but not necessarily at all costs, you know. He's a private guy. He's entitled to a private life. And I don't know that, like, if I bumped into him on the street, it'd be cool to get a selfie or whatever. But really, if I were going to meet him, it'd be a lot more fun to be able to sit and, like, talk music or something for a while. But I don't know that he'd really have much interest in doing that with some rando. He gets to do that with anybody he wants to. So, well, you know, we'll see. It's not something that I need in order to feel complete, but at the same time, I wouldn't turn down the opportunity if it presented itself to me. I just would want it to be in a way that that didn't annoy him. If I could ask him anything, what would I ask him? Oh, gosh. That's a good question. I don't even know. I don't know what I'd ask him. I think I might ask him, like, I promise I won't tell anybody. Who do you like better, Lennon or McCartney? Yeah, I don't know. Good question. Well, you know, the main thing that I always keep in mind is that they're people, you know. I don't think that it's always a disappointment to meet your heroes. I've met some of my heroes, and some of them have been everything I wanted them to be, and others have been a disappointment. But the fact of the matter is that, like, Billy Joel's body of work has meant what it's meant to me, regardless of what the experience of meeting Billy Joel, the person, would be like. But I suspect he's probably pretty cool, but it's like, you know, it's unfair to expect them to live up to what you've built up in your mind about these people. They're just human beings. Hi, Bill. All right, this one's kind of fun. I don't get to do this on piano very often, so this is for Jan. What's the matter with the clothes I'm wearing? Can't you tell that your tie's too wide? What about... Wait a minute. I better put the lyrics up in front of me. I'm going to screw this one up. We're going to do a take two on that. This was Billy Joel's first ever #1 hit. 1980, Glass Houses. A 1, a 2. There's that pop-up I've been waiting for. Okay, 1, a 2, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. What's the matter with the clothes I'm wearing? Can't you tell that your tie's too wide? Maybe I should buy some old tab collars. Welcome back to the age of jive. Where have you been hiding out lately, honey? You can't dress trash until you spend a lot of money. Everybody's talking about the new sound funny, but it's still rock and roll to me. What's the matter with the car I'm driving? Can't you tell that I sound in style? Should I get a set of white wall tires? Gonna cruise a miracle mile. Nowadays you can't be too sentimental. Your best bet's a true baby blue continental. Hot funk, cool punk, even if it's old junk, still rock and roll to me. Whoa, it doesn't matter what they say in the papers, it's always been the same old scene. There's a new band in town, but you can't get the sound from a story in a magazine aimed at your average teen. How about a pair of pink sidewinders and a bright orange pair of pants? You could really be a Beau Brummel, baby, if you just give it half a chance. Waste your money on a new set of speakers, you get more mileage from a cheap pair of sneakers. Next page, new wave dance craze. Anyways, still rock and roll to me. All right, Rico! What's the matter with the crowd I'm seeing? But you know that they're out of touch. Should have tried to be a straight A student. If you are, then you think too much. But don't you know about the new fashion, honey? All you need are looks and a whole lot of money. Next phase, new wave dance craze. Anyways, still rock and roll to me. Everybody's talking about the new sound, funny, but it's still rock and roll to me. Woo! Woo! Okay. Now here's one I've never actually tried to do, I don't think. This one's a Little Richard / Jerry Lee Lewis kind of tribute from the Innocent Man album. Okay, I think I can get away with this in this key. So we'll see how this goes. Never tried to play this one before, so I'm going to be building this airplane while I fly it. But it's in the request list, and since we've done these two big hits from An Innocent Man, why not? We ought to give this a try. Let me tell you a story about a woman and a man. Maybe you will find familiar, maybe you won't understand. Maybe the man's name I don't remember. He was always Joe to me, but I can't forget the woman. Well, she was always Christie Lee. He was working in a nightclub. There he played the saxophone. Used to make the stock arrangements. Used to play that on her own. One night before the last song, about a quarter after 3, saw her standing at the coat check and made his move on Christie Lee. Christie Lee, Christie Lee, Christie Lee, Christie Lee. Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo, yeah. Well, it was a nice piece of music. She was a nice piece of music. There we go. She had a rhythm all her own. He blew solo like a blind man. Really dug his saxophone. Wanted more than just an encore. And he could play in every key. Left the stage and pounded his alto. And took it on with Christie Lee. Oh, I heard the man knew the Bible like the Bible. The man who'd blow it and the man could blow an educated axe. Couldn't see that Christie Lee was a woman. Didn't need another lover. All she wanted was a sax. Took a while for him to notice. Took a while for him to see. He was never in control, yeah. It was always Christie Lee. Christie Lee, Christie Lee. Christie Lee, Christie Lee. Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Oh, you know the man took a calculated gamble. It's the man and the power to perform. Christie Lee was more than he knew how to handle. She didn't need him as a man. All she wanted was a horn. They say that Joe became a wino. Say he always drinks alone. Say he stumbles like a blind man. Say he sold his saxophone. Even that must be some music. That's what the moral is to me. Only time you hit the high notes is when you play for Christie Lee. Christie Lee, Christie Lee. Christie Lee, Christie Lee. Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Well, Christie Lee. Christie Lee, Christie Lee, Christie Lee, Christie Lee, Christie Lee, woo-hoo! bottle of white, a bottle of red, perhaps a bottle of rosé instead. We'll get a table near the streets in our old familiar place, you and I, face to face. Bottle of red, a bottle of white. It all depends upon your appetite. Meet you anytime you want in our Italian restaurant. Things are okay with me these days. I got a good job, I got a good office, I got a new life, got a new wife, and the family's fine. Oh, we lost touch long ago, lost weight, I did not know you could ever look so nice after so much time. You remember those days hanging out at the Miller's Green, the engineer boots, leather jacket, the tight blue jeans. Drop a dime in a box, play a song about New Orleans. Cold beer, hot lights, much sweet romantic teenage nights. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Rendering at it while the popular status and the king and the queen and the prom. Riding around with the car top down and the radio on. Nobody looked any finer. It was more of the heat in the Parkway diner. No, we never knew we could want more than that out of life. Surely Brenda and Eddie would always know how to survive. Oh, 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 oh. Brenda and Eddie were still going steady in the summer of '75 when they decided that marriage would be at the end of July. Everyone said they were crazy. Brenda, you know that you're much too lazy, and Eddie can never afford to live that kind of life. Oh, but there we were waving Brenda and Eddie goodbye. Oh, oh, oh. They got an apartment with deep bar carpets and a couple of painted from seas. They went about that they bought with the bread they saved for a couple of years. Started to fight when the money got tight, just didn't count on the deals. Oh, 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 so let it rock and roll. But it's always the same in the end. They got a divorce as a matter of course, and they bought the clothes of friends. And the king and the queen went back to the green, but you can never go back there again. Oh, oh, oh. Brenda and Eddie had it already by the summer of '75. Hired the Lord at the end of the show for the rest of their lives. Couldn't go back to the greasers. Best they could do was pick up their pieces, and we always knew they would both find a way to get by. Oh, and that's all I heard about Brenda and Eddie. And do you more, cause I told you already. Here we are with Brenda and Eddie goodbye. Oh, 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 oh. Bottle red, bottle white, whatever kind of mood you're in tonight, I'll meet you anytime you want in our Italian restaurant. Thanks, Chris. This is one I've kind of been vibing on lately from the Piano Man album. If I only had the words to tell you, if you only had the time to understand, though I know it wouldn't change your feeling, and I know you'll carry on the best you can. If I only had the urge to tell you, have all been taken, and the radio repeats them every day. If I never find the song to sing you, if you always find it hard to comprehend, well, you know there wouldn't be much meaning if I had to sing those tired words again. Life goes on, and tonight will soon be gone. But if we try, we can be sure. If I only had the words to tell you, if you only had the time to understand, but I only have these arms to hold you, and it's all that you could ask of any man. La 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 la, la 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 la. If I only had the words to tell you, if you only had the time to understand, but I only have these arms to hold you, and it's all that you could ask of any man. Gerardo, good to see you. Thank you very much. Saturday night and you're still hanging around. If I were living in your one-horse town, I'd like to find a little hole in the ground for a while. Oh, you go to the village in your tie-dye jeans, stare at the junkies and the closet queens. It's like some pornographic magazine in the smile. Oh, Captain Jack will get you high tonight and take you to your special island. Your sister's gone out, she's on a date. You just sit at home and articulate all the things that are bothering you. Phone's gonna ring soon, but you just can't wait for that call. Stand in the corner in your new English clothes. You look so polished from your hair down to your toes. Oh, still your fingers just gonna pick your nose after all. Oh, Captain Jack will get you high tonight and take you to your special island. Ah, Captain Jack will get you by tonight. Just a little push and you'll be smiling. Oh, oh yeah. So you decide to take a holiday. Got your tape deck in your brand new Chevrolet. Oh, but there ain't no place to go anyway. And what for? Oh, so you got everything, oh, but nothing's cool. Just found your father in a swimming pool. Guess you won't be going back to school anymore. Oh, but Captain Jack will get you high tonight and take you to your special island. Ah, Captain Jack will get you by tonight. Just a little push and you'll be smiling. Oh, oh yeah. So you play your albums and you smoke your pot and you meet your girlfriend in a parking lot. Still you're begging for the things you have not got. We're wrong. And if you can't understand why your world is so dead, why you've gotta keep in style and feed your head. Well, you're 21, but still your mother makes your bed. That's too long. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah. But Captain Jack will get you high tonight and take you to your special island. Now, Captain Jack will get you high tonight. Just a little push and you'll be smiling. I see a few of you enjoyed my substitution of the word articulate. There's so many words that end with 8. I feel like I have to try them all. But I never decide what I'm going to do in advance. It's always in the moment. Sometimes I just go ahead and say the actual word, and other times I sub it. Okay, so I was asked to play this one, and I'm going to make this the last one for tonight, and they wanted me to comment on why I think it's great. I think this song is great because you only have to hear it one time to remember it for the rest of your life. It's not the most sophisticated thing he ever wrote. It's repetitive. And yet, there's just something about it. I mean, it's become such a much bigger deal than it actually was in its time. It barely cracked the top 30 in 1974. And yet today, it's the song where, the crowd would be out for blood if you didn't play it. So, I don't know. I've been fascinated and drawn to this song since the first time I heard it, and it's been a pleasure to play it almost 2,000 times for audiences over the years. And I don't know that anybody else in the business has like a signature career song that more perfectly, that's so well known by the whole zeitgeist, that plays into their image so perfectly. So I don't know. This is lightning in a bottle. 9 o'clock on a Saturday, the regular crowd shovels in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. Said, son, can you play me a memory? I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes. La la da da da, la da da da. Song, hear the piano man sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody. You've got us feeling alright. By the way, Juan was my regular bartender at a gig that I played consistently for nearly 10 years out in the desert Southwest. Juan's good people. I miss him. But we used to hang out every Friday night, a place called Playoffs. Juan at the bar, he's a friend of mine. He gets me my drinks for free. And he's quick with a joke or the refill of rum and coke. There's someplace he'd rather be. Now Paul is a real estate novelist who never had time for a wife. And he's talking with Davy, who's still in the Navy. I probably will be polite. The waitress is practicing politics as the businessmen slowly get stoned. They're sharing a drink they call loneliness. It's better than drinking alone, I just say. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody. You've got us feeling alright. Pretty good crowd for a Saturday. The manager, he gives me a smile, 'cause he knows that it's me they've been coming to see, to forget about life for a while. The piano, it sounds like a carnival, and the microphone smells like a beer. They sit at the bar, put bread in my jar, say, man, what are you doing here? La 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 da da da, la la da 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 da. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody. You've got us feeling alright. All right, guys, thank you. I'm going to let that be enough for tonight. I'll be back on Sunday with my normal, broader show. And then next week, I'll have binged the entire documentary. We'll dive into that a little deeper. Hopefully, Kevin will be able to join me next week so we can have a good conversation about the And So It Goes documentary, both parts 1 and part 2. So, looks to be a good time. Thanks. Remember, in the words of Billy himself, don't take any shit from anybody. And in the words of me, remember, if you're not having fun when you're making music, you're doing it wrong. And give as much love as you can to as many people as you can, as often as you can. None of us knows when the ride comes to an end, gang. Make it count. Leave it on the field. Don't have any regrets. Love you all. I'll see you at the next one. Take care.